everybody, I'm Kate Conroy.
No, I'm Vinny Civitello.
And this is Other People's Business, which is the podcast from the New Jersey Business and Industry Association, the largest statewide business association in the United States of America, which, let's be honest, that means is probably bigger than any place else in the world, in the universe, ever, in space, right?
There we go.
Obviously.
There we go.
Okay.
We're coming full circle now.
I was thinking was that like a sort of callback to like an early episode? I feel like we
did the first
that.
one. I want to say maybe this. Yeah.
All right. Look at that. We release a new episode every other Wednesday, so be on the lookout for that. Shout out to New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Group. They do home, auto, and workers' comp, and they are the official sponsor of the show. So, excuse me, I ran out of air. If you need some updated coverage, check them out.
Awesome. Housekeeping matter too before we get this train rolling. This podcast is available just about anywhere you can get a podcast. That's iTunes, Google Play, Amazon's TuneIn. We even throw these things up on YouTube if you'd rather watch than listen. But no matter how you check the show out, give it some love, give it that like, give it that comment, give it that 5-star review on iTunes. It helps the respective algorithms that are going to wipe us all out one day figure out how to put this show in front of more eyes, which is never a bad thing. But speaking of coming full circle, today our guest was actually the guest on our second ever episode, Betty Boros from Checks Notes NJBIA. Say hi, let the audio-only audience hear your voice.
Hi there. Hi, Kate and Vinny. Thanks so much for having me on once again.
Always a pleasure.
It is indeed our pleasure.
And by always, I mean once every 126 episode or so.
I feel loved, really.
There you go.
You should. You definitely should. So the format has changed a little bit. We used to start this show with an icebreaker that was awful or awesome, and it's been a while since we've done that. So now we talk about what we're binging. So today's icebreaker is what are we currently binging? And I'll go ahead and start because I binged something hard over the weekend, and it wrecked me. And I did not expect it to wreck me. Good Omens 2 has my heart in a box, and Neil Gaiman is hitting the box with a hammer as we speak. I loved it so much, and I loved the book that season 1 was based on. I didn't think there was any possible way season 2 could be better than season 1. Wrecked.
Wow. I didn't even know season 2 came out.
It did, FYI.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago. It was so good. He was so good. Amazing.
They just did a Kickstarter for they want to make like a graphic novel adaptation of the show, and it set some kind of record on Kickstarter by smashing its goal in 10 minutes or something. So
that makes sense. That tracks.
Yeah.
It's an amazing show.
I don't even know what it is.
Oh my God, you've never heard of it? Okay. Let me just see if I can do this like 30 seconds or less synopsis.
Sure.
Okay,
Start the clock.
Season 1 is all about these two best friends, an angel and a demon, and they have been friends since the beginning of time. In fact, season 1, episode 1 starts with the Garden of Eden, and they bump into each other there. And the demon has just done, exactly what you think he's done. He's led the humans astray, and the angel is like, oh dear, this is not going to be good. She's expecting already. They're out in the desert. It's not great. And they continue to be friends for like centuries, millennia, until one day this ineffable plan comes together where the Antichrist is going to be born in this little town in England. But there's a case of switching babies. So the Antichrist goes home with the wrong family. And of course, these two best friends are in the mix. It is the most charming, delightful, wonderful, beautiful, and a feast for the eyes. Like the costumes are beautiful. The scenery is beautiful. Highly recommend.
I feel bad for that wrong family.
I know. I know. Well, it all works out in the end because he was raised by good parents. He doesn't turn out to be as like antichristy.
Okay. That's a new adjective, sure.
Yeah. It was wonderful. And season 2 was just perfection. So good.
If Betty wants to watch it, where can she check it out?
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. Okay.
Yeah.
Betty, what have you been binging?
Right now I'm on season 3 of Emily in Paris. So incredibly lighthearted.
Yes.
Lots of good scenery, I'll call them costumes. Like you gotta love the fashion in that, but
yeah,
I think I was in the mood for something really light that I knew wasn't real. And I think it's more of a comedy than than anything else, because you know how not real it is. So yeah.
And I think Pat Fields, who was the costume designer for Sex and the City, she's also the costume designer for that show. And so, the outfits are amazing.
Yeah. Yep.
What? Tell me about it. Like, what is the show about? I've never heard of it before.
So Emily in Paris is about a young woman who is from Chicago, and I don't know whether she gets an internship or a work visa, but she goes over to Paris to work for a marketing company. And of course, she's perfect. So she's every idea is absolutely fabulous and makes all this money for the company. But in the midst of that, there's a whole bunch of drama, a bunch of boyfriends, a lot of things that don't work out so good. I don't know. It's a really good thing to sit back and watch, and I don't know, just kind of chill, because
And where is it?
It's really punchy. There's like, they kind of make fun of themselves, and they kind of make fun of society in the way that everything is not, I don't know. So she's got a roommate, and she's like lost her job, and she's like, oh, what am I going to do? And the roommate's comment is like, I don't know, but where am I going to live if you don't have any money? Like,
Where is it?
where's it placed?
No, like, where do you watch it?
Netflix. It's on Netflix.
Because there's so many of these like things nowadays. Yeah,
there is.
All right, Ben, what are you watching?
I'm gonna make this really quick because I just got back from vacation, so I haven't been binging anything. I did see the new Little Mermaid. That's about as far as I got in binging anything. Yeah.
So I've been so curious. I don't have kids, so nobody's ever pushing me toward Disney.
Did you see the original Little Mermaid?
Oh my God, over and over and over
Okay.
again. I haven't memorized. I could like belt out
Sure.
a thing or two if you had.
Sure.
I'm not going to do that to you.
Ah.
How is the music? Did they add anything to the story? Did they change anything? Give me the play-by-play.
All right, so I would say that it's probably the best of their live action remakes that they've done. Like, I feel like they've made a lot of questionable choices in these live action remakes. Like, the Beauty and the Beast one, there was a lot of auto tuning going on.
Yeah.
Aladdin, I think the singing was probably so bad that they turned the volume on the music all the way up and the lyrics all the way down. So I was like, you can't even hear them singing. Like, is that on purpose? Are they just that ashamed? The Lion King, they cast Beyonce as Nala, which is a weird choice when you think about the fact that Beyonce is one of the best singers in the world and Nala doesn't have any songs. So, like, there's that. So this one, I mean, there was no auto tuning that I could hear. It was all sung very well. If I have one criticism, and one criticism only, it's that The Little Mermaid in 1989 was like 80 something minutes long, and this was almost 2.5 hours long. And none of the added material felt necessary. It was just like, let's just add in stuff to give everybody a song, and
And it's still meant for like children, right? What kids watch 2.5-hour movies?
Yeah, that was the thing. We were watching it with the kid, and she fell asleep. I want to say like 2/3 of the way through.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, but that's what I want to watch some stuff, but I haven't really sunk into anything just yet. I'll find my way to something sooner or later. But in the meantime, I'd love to hear what Betty does for a living. Not that I don't know, because we're all one big happy family at BIA. But for the sake of our audience, who maybe like hasn't been, memorizing the second episode of our show from 6-7 years ago, I'd love to hear.
Well, so I joke a lot of the times because I sit in the background, but I'm one of the executive leaders here, with oversight over membership and partnership and programs. And my goal is always to make sure that we're kind of talking the same talk, and that we're, we know what one arm of the organization is doing, and that we're connecting them through our membership campaigns, the partnerships that we have, the events and the programs that we do. So events keep us very busy, but so does membership. It changes every day. It's a far different life than the one I led beforehand, before BIA, when I was in the public sector, and I would call a business and they didn't want to hear from me. And now I get to help businesses in all different kinds of ways. So it's pretty gratifying. It's a lot of work, and that's okay. But it's really, really gratifying. I get to talk to a lot of people all the time.
I think a lot of people don't know this, but you're a scientist. Like, your work in the public sector was like PhD level science.
Yeah. So yeah, a scientist for the Department of Environmental Protection. which was a great job. I was there. Well, I'm not going to tell you how many years I was there. I was there a long time. But I always tell, I get asked a lot just because I'm a scientist who now manages, what really, why do I do this and why I'm not back in the science space? And, the science space, I got a little bit burnt out, but I would always say to people, if you want a degree that's going to, I guess, make you very versatile, a science degree will do that, because there's so much high level thinking, but so much, really down and dirty analytics in it, that be able to do both of those things and pull them together and get answers out of it is just, it's rewarding. And I use a lot of that here, even with the project management that I do.
Sorry, no, I was just going to say, you totally, that makes perfect sense. The high level thinking and the down and dirty analysis, we do that together all the time with events and stuff. Sorry, Vinny, go ahead.
No, I was going to say what field of science. you did such a better job of actually pulling it to what we do at BIA. So now I feel ashamed.
My degree was marine science. I thought
okay.
I was with dolphins. It's not what I did. Ended up more in, human health and public health and environmental protection. But again, it's the foundation that you build and utilize.
Yeah.
What made you go into marine science? Was it the dolphins?
Part of it was the dolphins, but I really wanted to do marine research. So I think when I was in college, I thought I was going to end up living on an oil platform, working for, some large oil company, getting all kinds of neat samples to analyze and figure out what was going on. And yeah, that's not where I ended up.
Okay.
There's still time.
So tell me about so the opportunity to go to BIA comes along. What makes you think okay, I'm done with the marine science thing. I want to do, let's say, events and partnerships. And that wasn't even really what you did when you first got here, but
it wasn't. I have really evolved. So, I've been here, so I guess going on 9 years now.
Yeah.
9 years in November. BIA is very different now than it was when I got here. So we've been an evolving organization for some time. Our separation from the formal agreement with NJM, of course, they're a really, really great partner, but we're
sponsor of this show. Thank you very much.
That's right. But we are no longer a gateway to their insurance product, which is fine. It's a business model that didn't work for either of us anymore. But it's forced us to evolve. And of course, we're 113 years old, right? If I did the math right.
Yeah, I just double checked it in my head.
1910. An Excel spreadsheet, right? But business and the economy have changed. Look at just how much the economy in the world has changed in the last 5 years, post COVID. So my role here has evolved as BIA has evolved. When I got here, we had very different programs and services. We're doing things now that we didn't do when I got here, and all of that is good. All of that is really good. And we left some things aside too that didn't make sense anymore. So
yeah. I was just gonna say, speaking of events, because we were just a tiny bit. We left what I would call a sacred cow behind recently, and I'm not going to name the name of the event because some people might have strong feelings about it. But I've never been so happy to walk out of a meeting after pleading my case and convincing people that we didn't need this event anymore. It made my heart sing. It did. It made me so happy. And the thing is,
really, me too.
And for real, the thing is that events take up a lot of space in our head, that high level thinking, but they also take a lot of work, like physical work, thought work and physical work. And our biggest event of the year is coming up in September. And that's the thing that I really wanted to talk to Betty about, because she is the brain behind that event, I think, in a lot of ways. And axing an event that no longer serves its purpose makes room for more thought and work on an event that can just continue to grow and evolve and be everything that it can be. So Betty, the event in September is our women's event. It's our 9th annual. It's the New Jersey Women Business Leaders Forum. And you have been here for that event, like from the get-go, right? I showed up a year after you guys started.
I have. I had only been here a couple of months. and the leadership at that time had been trying to work to pull an event together, and they didn't have the bandwidth, right? So it kind of got handed to me, and kind of reorganized the thoughts and put them together and did our first Women Business Leaders Forum then. It's much bigger now than it was then. It has significantly grown over the years, but we've had this overarching theme about building gender diversity in leadership and in the boardroom. And the professional air to that event has provided a unique space that has allowed us to be really successful with the event. And it's allowed us to, I'd like to go back and look at how many new partnerships and friendships, that we found along the way in these 9 years. It's really, really been incredible.
I would agree with you. And I would say that in addition to leadership in the boardroom, the event is for people who maybe don't have any interest in C-suite or leadership. They're just, like me, middle manager, worker bee, trying to like collect my shekels and do my good job and, go home at night. It's for people like me too, who care about the job. They want to do better. They want to learn. They want to grow. The professional development is no joke at this event. It is so intense and so robust. But the networking, what you just said about how many new partnerships and friendships, I was just in my mind thinking about all the names of the people that we met because of this event that we're still friends with. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's but amazing. I think about, so your point about how there's something for everybody. So I'm obviously later in my career, right? I've had one before this. This is my second career. But every year I go and I pick up something, there's so many professionals that do so little training or something for themselves each year. And the professional and the soft skills that are reaffirmed or, that you get reminded of in this event is really great. And I know we've tried over the years to try and get more men to the event, and we've struggled with that.
I've been every single year.
So maybe you are our spokesperson.
There you go.
So Vin, what do you think of the event?
I think it's fantastic. I think it's probably the biggest, most impressive thing we do all year. And I'm not just saying that because I work for BIA. I mean, it really is. Like when you walk in there, it's impressive. I mean, where are we having it this year? It's always in some really cool venue.
Yeah.
I don't want to like downplay the rest of the events we do by saying this, but I walk in and I'm always like, wow, this is like one of those legit conferences you see on TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So last year we sold out the ballroom at Caesars in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
And this year we're back north. We're going to be at the Newark Airport Marriott Hotel, which is a beautiful space. And it's really super easy to get to. It's kind of right mid-state. All roads lead to the airport. If you imagine the map of New Jersey, so it's really easy to get to, and it's beautiful. And I've been doing events at the space for years, and the same people work there year after year after year. So we've even been able to develop relationships with like the staff there, and they take such good care of us. They're so good.
Yeah. Was last year the one where Carrie Barrett did the keynote, or was that the year before?
It was the year before. That was the Somerset. That was at Somerset Hills. No, the Palace at Somerset. Thank you. The Palace at Somerset Hills. Yeah.
So shout out to Carrie Barrett. We love her on the show. She's been on the show a couple times now. But the reason I bring her up is because I think even in her keynote, she was mentioning how she had to kind of switch gears because she was like, I was really surprised at how many men there were in the audience. I was going to say something about how there's only like 2 or 3 of you. And you're like, oh, I'm looking around and there's a lot of men in the room. So yeah, we're there. You don't even see us. We're there.
Well, I don't know, Betty, correct me if I'm wrong, but the philosophy is that we recognize that we need men to help lift women up to the next level. So it's not a male bashing conference. It is not in any way putting men down or putting them in their place. We recognize that it's a partnership.
I think a lot of the tips that people give for, bettering your career, it's very difficult to give like, here's a tip for a woman to get, better her career. Like I listen to a lot of this stuff and I'm like, yeah, I mean, this sounds just as applicable to a man and as a woman. So, I mean, yes, the focus of the event is the Women Business Leaders Forum, but it doesn't matter what role or what level in your career or what gender you are. Like tips for bettering yourself or tips for bettering yourself. That's what I think.
Yeah, I always think about the topics that we do around, communication and difficult conversations. So I don't, as a new employee of anywhere, I don't know that you can get through a whole year without having to have a difficult conversation about something, regardless of what level you're at an organization, whether it's a job assignment or a coworker or, maybe what's happening on the outside that is somehow coming into the office and everybody's feeling that negative energy about it. We can all use help when it comes to, communication and having difficult conversations. So yeah, a lot of the topics really, transcend not only levels, men and women, but just about any work environment that you would have.
100% agree. In fact, I want to jump back to something that you said a few minutes ago. You mentioned soft skills. And for anybody out there who's not sure what that means, do you want to talk a little bit about the difference between soft skills and hard skills?
So I think hard skills are, I don't know, I think about them as technical abilities, and soft skills are really how we get through the day, right?
Yeah.
And interact with our coworkers, interact with our clients, so it's communications and negotiations and, not what you do, but how you do it.
Totally. Yeah. And I think that it's so important to understand that the conference is a really good mix of both. So I think that soft skills are harder to teach and therefore more important. I can teach anybody how to use an Excel spreadsheet. I can't teach just anybody, just to put it down to its most basic form, how to answer the phone with a smile as a receptionist so that the person on the other end feels welcomed, even though they don't know who you are. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, the soft skills that are covered by this conference are really incredible. And it's late September. Remind me the date. The
27th and 28th. So 2 days, but not 2 full days. We start kind of in the middle of the day on the first day and finish about the same time the next day. The idea is that there's time to travel. There's time to check in with your kids if you're going to stay overnight and not be gone that long. There's time to check in on your email on both days. So it's, we're not looking for a full 2-day commitment, but there's going to be a really nice party than that night though. Kate, do you want to talk about the party? Because this was your idea.
I do. I'm really excited about the party. I don't know how much energy I'll have to actually dance, but we're bringing in a DJ and we're going to have a bowl full of socks. So Vinny, I don't know if you've ever worn high heels, but
I can't say that I have, but it's on my to-do list.
We'll bring a pair for you.
Thank you.
Just as an FYI, when you wear high heels all day long and then somebody like brings out a dance floor and a DJ, you're like, ooh, I don't know. So we're going to have a bowl of socks, take off your shoes, put on these nice comfy socks, dance the night away. I say night away. We'll wrap it up probably by 8 o'clock because the next morning.
Ain't no party like a BIA party because the BIA party stops promptly at 8 o'clock so Kate can go to bed.
I mean, that is exactly my ulterior motive. I like to go to bed early and I'm not even going to lie about it, but we do have an early start the next day. And so just in case anybody wants to like get a drink at the bar and talk to a colleague about something that they learned that day or check email one more time or really
I was just going to ask, do we have the open bar again this year? Because that's where I've done my best networking over the last 9 WBLFs.
Well, I'm remembering last year I hung out with you that whole cocktail hour. So.
And I made some awesome new friends at that.
That's true. So yes, right before the dance party is an open bar reception.
I think I lost Kate.
I think you're right. I think you lost Kate.
You want to pick it up for her? I'm sure you know what she was going to say.
So right before we have a regular networking reception, which will include the open bar. And that's where most people will do the networking. Yeah. And then we'll go back to the dance party.
Okay. I feel bad. I'm just going to keep it rolling without Kate for now whenever she pops back in. Actually, in the last episode, my power went out right in the middle of a conversation and she did it. So it's fine. Tell me about some of the breakouts we got going on.
some of the breakouts. So we've got some on networking. We've got something on returnship, which is new for us this year. And that's about people who leave, the work environment for whatever reason. And there are many reasons that people do. And then they come back, and how hard it is and the difficult path for that. And, whether there are things that with the shortage of workers in all spaces right now, whether there are things businesses can do to help bring people back, and even for coworkers. So in that space, or if you're the person returning, how do we make that change easier? So, when people leave the workforce for all kinds of reasons right now. So returnship is new. So some of the other panels, we've got one on improving your professional presence. So we talk about, how people have gone in and out of the workforce. Things have changed, right? The way we dress for work, I think, has significantally changed. But it's not just being at work; it's being on a Zoom. So that's what that panel is going to talk about. We've got another panel on women in manufacturing. So there are more women there than there ever has been, but there's still quite a stigma, the same way it revolves around women who are plumbers, or, women who are metal workers or something. The growth of women in manufacturing is significant. And the piece that we don't want to lose there is the opportunity is really significant. So if you're looking for a niche, or, you're not happy where you are, there's incredible opportunities for women in that space. Talking about, I think we talked earlier about, difficult conversations, salary negotiations and pay equity. So who of us doesn't want to raise? Many of us are a little hesitant to advocate for ourselves, or even know where to go to figure out how much should I be making. So there's a panel on salary negotiations. Secret benefits to building a strong network. So we talked earlier, so I'm a scientist. That most characteristically means I'm also an introvert. I had to learn to
unite. There we go.
Yeah, I had to learn to network. Networking is it's a skill you need to build. It's, for some people, it comes really naturally. For others, networking is a learned skill. It's use tips on and everything, but yeah, it's hard. But the importance of doing that is significant in a lot of ways. So why you need to build a strong network and why you need to network is one of the panels this year as well.
Cool. Kate, while we have you back, your power and internet have been in and out.
Sorry about that.
Can you tell us about some of the speakers we had? No big deal. I lost power in the last episode.
That's true.
Can you tell us about some of the speakers we have this year?
Absolutely. So the speakers are always a mix of returning favorites and new faces. So some of the returning favorites are, let's see, Sally Jo O'Brien is back again. Queen Stewart spoke at the Women's Council, and she did such a great job. We invited her. Megan Pitts from Bristol Myers is speaking again. Let's see, Ginny Hill always does the Girl Scouts champagne toast. She's amazing. She's on the
absolutely.
She's on the confidence panel this year, which is perfect.
Two-time guest on this show, actually one only a couple episodes ago. So
that's exactly right. Constantina Mice. Oh gosh, I'm gonna mess up her last name. I apologize, Constantina. With NJMEP. Last year, they put together a panel specifically for women in manufacturing, and it was standing room only. So she's doing that for us again this year. We're excited about that. Let's see. Audible is doing a whole panel this year on something called returnship. Vinny, have you ever heard of returnship?
No.
Think of the word internship. So it's for people who left the workforce during the pandemic.
Oh, yeah. Betty was just talking about this while you're gone. I'm sorry.
You lie then. No, just
yes.
Kidding. So
I didn't. Now I know the term returnship. There we
go. Returnship. Yeah. So they have created specifically for themselves a technology course to get women mainly through some additional, professional development, and then they're hired into the company to return to work. It's just a fantastic program. And I want to say that of the number of people who've gone through it, like 10 or 20% have been promoted into leadership positions at the company, which is just phenomenal.
Cool.
We have a consultant back again, Shel Bobev. She specializes in pay disparities, and she is going to be speaking on that panel again this year, which is awesome. So it is just a really amazing mix of, like I said, returning favorites and new faces. We're thrilled. We're thrilled.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come right back, we're going to play a game.
All right. Welcome back. It is now time for our lightning round, which today is brought to us by RWJ Barnabas. Thank you, RWJ
Thank you.
Barnabas. Betty, are you ready?
I think so.
All right. Favorite pizza topping?
Sausage.
Okay, that's a good one.
Good one. Yeah. Every once in a while, somebody will say something like green peppers. And I'm like, no, don't. That's not
Green peppers is actually not that bad. Our former IT director, Gene Tom, actually turned me on to green peppers and sausage as a combination.
I like that.
And it works. It really does. It's when you start talking about like onions and mushrooms and all of that stuff that I'm like,
it's like garbage pizza to me. I don't like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Greatest TV show ever made?
MASH.
MASH.
One.
That is the first, like what is it? Like when they do the Olympics and they're like, this is the first medal for MASH. This is the first time somebody has listed MASH as the great show.
That's
all
a
right.
Great show. Oh gosh, now I want to reminisce about MASH. Remember that first season when Henry, oh gosh, I can't remember his name. Somebody dies at the end of the first season, and it was so traumatic for the audience that they vowed they would never kill off the main character again.
Yep.
Yeah.
How do you not kill off characters in a show about the Vietnam War?
I mean, imagine if somebody from Lost was like, okay, sorry about that. We're never going to kill off another main character again. But the backlash was so big.
Wow.
They made a promise to the world.
It's one of those few shows that no matter when I run across it, I'll just watch it. It doesn't matter what episode it is. I'm always happy to watch MASH.
100%.
I saw the movie. I've never seen the show. So
you should.
Yeah.
It's really,
the movie came up. It was like I was working through a list of like the funniest movies ever, and that was on there. So I checked it out for that.
The movie's great, but the show is so good.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So good.
All
right. What is the most daring thing you've ever done? Oh, I think I know the
most daring thing I've ever done.
Yeah, and if you can't think of it, I know what it is. Maybe
I don't know. I did sneak into the back part of the, what was it? It's not the New York Aquarium.
Oh my goodness!
Snuck into the New York Aquarium.
Well, so there was a gate that was kind of open, and we kind of like went in there and started petting the beluga whales.
Okay, that's amazing. That is really amazing.
Is that what you were gonna say? Is that what you were? No. All right. So now I want to hear what Kate thought the most daring thing.
So
this
Betty,
is like a
when
double.
She was like, I know, right? So when she was in college, I think just got a job, took a job on a fishing boat, and like went out into the middle of the ocean with a crew of all men and worked her tail off from sun up to sunset, stunk of fish for months, made good money. Like that is just such a baller.
She was a marine biologist. That's not daring. That's your job.
You know, it's funny you talk about daring, and I'm like, well, that was a job. Does that count as daring? I guess it does.
It does. I think
it's fun, not work. I don't know.
I feel like you were so brave to do that. I don't know if I would have done that. That was crazy.
Brave or dumb, I don't know.
Well, I moved to New Jersey when I was 20, so who am I to say what?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
All right, favorite restaurant in New Jersey?
Metro Grill in Ewing.
Oh,
like our go-to place.
Very nice.
What do they serve? I've never been there.
Yeah.
So it's an Italian theme, but a little bit of everything. You can get everything from a bar pie to a really fabulous pasta dish. So, and the martini's great. So
awesome.
That help. The bartenders are amazing. The servers are amazing. But you know, I think everybody tries to has that one restaurant that's close to their house that they know they can go to and be comfortable and always get a good meal. That's 100%. For us.
While I was on vacation, mine closed.
Oh my God.
No notice. I got like a text message from somebody and they had like a sign in the door like, thank you for the memories. And I was like, no.
Oh man, and you live in the middle of nowhere, Vin. So
right? That's what makes it worse.
That's painful. That's
Was
really
it one of the little ones on the main street there, or?
No, there was a place not far from my house called the Bagel Barn. And like when I say that the Bagel Barn was like a thing, it was just because it was one of the only 2 or 3 restaurants in the entire town. And yeah, they closed down while I was gone. I cried.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna-
That's
It was so
terrible.
good.
I'm
So good.
sorry. I'm sorry
Yeah.
for your loss. Okay, farthest from New Jersey you've ever been.
Cyprus, Greece.
Ooh, that was cool. Cyprus is an island off of Greece, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
we're on vacation?
Yeah, for a week vacation. We're looking for someplace to go and had like dialed into one of those vacation clubs, and she's like, I've got this new place, in Cyprus that would be great. Literally
New
like
place.
but we're literally pulling up the map going, I don't know where Cyprus is, but it sounds really good.
That's awesome. Okay, morning person or night owl?
I have to say night owl, but these days
course.
night owl is until 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it's my kind
I mean,
of night owl.
Oh, okay. So I see what you're saying. And then it falls off a cliff. All right.
Yeah.
I like to say, like, I wish we could record this show at like midnight. Like it would just be, I know Kate can't do it. Kate goes to bed at like 8, but like the
Yeah.
level at which I would be on at like 11 or midnight, I would just love to see it. Cause yeah. Anyway,
Maybe someday we can experiment with that. Like maybe we could do it at 10 o'clock and I could like really push myself, and you would
the
have
problem is you'd never
Wait.
get a guest that would be willing to film at 10
Oh
p.m.
no, that's true. You're right.
No, I've been talking about it for years. Like I've always said, like we should do it at WBLF one year, like after the networking thing is over and we're like good and like half drunk, like get a camera together and
That'd be
record
really funny.
OPB after dark. Nobody ever
Oh,
says
we gotta do
yes.
it
That's
once.
the thing, Yeah.
Oh, I think we'd have to get approval from some people to do that.
Sure, but would all work out. I promise. All right, what's the next question?
All right, last question is always the same. How many cats is too many cats?
3.
Okay,
Great answer.
there you go.
That's a great answer. I'm going to take that as you knew how it would impact me if you said what most people say.
I'm just gonna let you know that most people who come on this show say 1 cat is too
Yeah, I
many
know.
cats.
I do
Like
watch
you
your
might be
show.
one of 2 people who have not said 1. So,
Oh
I
my
always feel
God.
like animals need a companion. I get that you're their companion, Kate. They're not each other's companion, but I still believe, every animal needs a companion. So, you always need animals in pairs. I don't know, back to Noah and his ark.
Love
so where does the
that.
3rd one come in?
Third is too
3
much.
is at the point where it's too
3
much.
is
I
too
got you.
much.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, all
3
right.
is too much.
That's
And
fair.
I think I kind of agree with that. I mean, I have had in my life, there was a point where I had 4 cats, and there was a point where I had 8 cats, and 4 were outside and 4 were inside. And
I wasn't gonna let you get away with that, by the way. When you were like, there was a point where I had 4, I was gonna be like, no. You had more than that.
they were expensive they were expensive. Just the food alone.
Mhm.
Stupid expensive. I'll never do that again. Not that
Yeah.
it was really my decision. I was living with somebody who really wanted to take care of the cats, and I was like, oh, whatever, fine, save the cats, whatever. Huh?
Fine, twist my arm.
All right, that was the lightning round, which today was brought to us by RWJ Barnabas. Thank you so much, and thank you, Betty.
Absolutely. Betty, is there anything else coming up you want to promote?
Maybe not something else coming up, but something that's relatively a new addition. So I said we're,
Sure.
not the BIA that we were 9 years ago. We have a great new service that we continually enhance, and that's our HR portal. So it's Mineral, and it is available to all of our members. They just need to log in, and some of them might need to create a new password because they haven't logged in some time. But it's everything HR that a business might need. And so whether you're an HR manager or you're someone who does HR for the company, or even employees who are looking for training, there is base training on cybersecurity and OSHA and soft skills and anything that your regular employees might need to enhance themselves. So any business that's a member can log in. Any of their employees can get a login and take the training, but it's all kinds of templates and notifications, information on laws, anything that you might need to do HR or practice HR at business. And again, it's available to everybody now. And we've gotten a lot of great comments from our members and how helpful it's been. So I would encourage anybody who's watching to log in and see what the HR services are, because they're
NJBIA.org.
That's right, NJBIA.org.
So Betty, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to chime in because this is such a cool product. Most small businesses know just enough to be dangerous. You know what I mean? Like there's the owner, and then there's the person who cuts the checks, who becomes the default HR person. And that person rarely has an HR degree or HR professional development as part of their yearly growth process. This HR product is amazing for businesses that are just in need of that little extra, like they have a template for everything, like literally a template to hire somebody, to send somebody on FMLA, to fire somebody. There's a template for everything. It is so robust. It is much more robust than I ever thought it could be. It's fantastic. Just wanted to jump in there and say that. Sorry.
All right. So that sounds cool. Betty, if somebody wants to take advantage of some of our partnership opportunities or maybe learn more about events, how could they get a hold of you? How could they learn about that stuff?
So anytime you want anything from us, first of all, write to the website, www.njbia.org. You can find events there. You can find partnerships. I'm on the website, but my email address is bboros. It's BBOROS @njbia.org. I'm easy to find in the member directory too, but if you want to call me directly, I'm at 609-858-9496 here at BIA. And I pick up the general line too. So if you just call BIA at the general number and somebody picks up the phone, chances are it might be me.
Awesome.
Fantastic. So I think that is our show. Thank you to our listeners, especially the subscribers. We really appreciate the support. Thank you to New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Group, the official sponsor of the show. They do home, auto, and workers' comp. So check them out if you need some updated coverage. And finally, big thanks to Betty Boros, Chief Member Strategy Officer here at NJBIA. Couldn't do this without you. Thank you so much for the support and the time and the help and all the things.
Thank you both. It was fun.
Always, always.
See you next time. Bye.